Almost 170,000 miles, and this thing still drives like a brand new Lexus. Lately, I've been getting a lot of emails. I'm looking at this Audi, I'm looking at this Mercedes, I'm looking at blah, blah, blah. Is it reliable? Of course it's not. No. You don't buy an Audi for reliability, you buy it for status symbol, and you buy them brand new, and you drive them for 3 or 4 years, and you go get another one. You don't buy Audis and BMWs and things with 170,000 miles on them. They will drain your pocketbook. This customer brings this in frequently for oil changes. It's typically all it ever needs. They have a couple of other Toyota-based vehicles as well. But we definitely want to do a video, and we're just going to do an inspection on this today. 170,000 miles. What does it look like underneath? I guarantee you a GMC Acadia is not going to drive this nice and be this nice at this age with this many miles. I've worked on a lot of them in the past that get to this level and they are literally falling apart. Let's take a look around this thing. So here's the front of this 2008 Lexus GX470. Like I mentioned, we've just had minor services and a timing belt and things on this, but this one, as you can see, the paint is in very good condition. It is starting to get a little bit of the frosting on the headlamps. Most cars do that around this age. We may at some point do a service on those and clear those up for the customer. Got some Continental tires on it. We go down this side, as you can see, it's not rusting, fading. There's no holes in it. There's been no raging where people have punched it because their GMC Acadia broke down for the 17th time. And you can see 470 is the 4.7 V8. It says right there V8. It's just really in good shape all the way around. Let's jump under the hood. These are the ears of huge plastic cladding. They really don't want you to see the engine at all. We do see the first timing belt that it had done back in 2015, and there's a second one underneath that cover. I'm not going to be taking it off. It's quite a, you have to take a bunch of bolts off, and there's no reason to take it apart. This engine's running fine. Are these engines great? They are absolutely bulletproof. You do have to do timing belts and water pumps there. That service is part of keeping this thing up to snuff and keeping it happy. But other than that, they just go and go. They are excellent engines. Let's go ahead and hop into the interior and let Mrs. Wizard show you around what it looks like in there.
Okay, ladies and gents, I've got it in accessory mode there, so we do see lots of lights on there, but that's just so we know that they work, I guess. They're not actually illuminated in real life when we actually get the engine running, but you can see there it has 169,148 miles. So take the hand off our light there and we'll see the gauge cluster is really simple, easy to read, nothing too fancy, nothing too fabulous. Take it off, the key, and there we go. It's looking good. Dash is in great condition, no cracks, no problems going on. Got a bit of an air freshener over there. Got some lovely faux wood trim around above our glove box and around our HVAC system with the vents. But got a very nice, easy to control radio and a couple of little hidey holes. So we have an ashtray and a cigarette lighter behind their own special little door. As we move down, you'll see that there is some more faux wood around a couple of selectors. One is the gear selector, and one is the selector if you want it in low, neutral, or high in your four-wheel drive. It also does have air suspension in the back, so it can raise that back end up just a little bit if you're in an area that needs a little extra height. You do see it has some creature comforts up there with heated seats. As we look at our seats, they do have a folding armrest, which is always nice when you want to just have it up or down. You don't have to have it in one locked position. But leather's in really good condition, no rips, no tears. Got maybe a little mark or so on there, but again, this is a 2008. It is near perfect. Door card's in good condition, has some taupe and ivory on there as well with a little bit more of our faux wood. Back seat has a 40-60 split with more of that ivory leather. It's looking really nice back there. This couple that owns this, they're retired, and so they have probably not too much use for their back seat, so that's why it's in a really, really great condition. Headliner, again, they don't have kids, at least little kids any longer, so no Cheeto fingers going on up there. here we are at the steering wheel, and it is very standard Lexus. So we have our Lexus logo in the center, some nice wood, and this is actual wood this time. It's not our faux wood we see over there, but we got controls for our phone. We've got some controls here for volume. We can change what mode we're in. I assume we can probably do things such as, you know, radio stations, things like that. On the side there, we've got our controls for our cruise control. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air and let's see what 169,000 miles looks like on the underneath of a Lexus.
So one thing we're going to see underneath here is there's lots of belly pans, but they're not plastic, chintzy, cheap stuff. It's real metal. It's built very heavy duty. As we can see up here is our radiator, and it's not leaking. Condenser is nice and clean. It's not full of bugs. No UV dye coming out of it. We'll check these brakes, like 80% remaining or more. No sway bar links that are loose, struts are not leaking, and our CV shaft looks good. CV shaft good here, strut is good, sway bar link is good, brakes are good, nothing loose there. Steering rack is not leaking anywhere, that looks good. Up in this hole you can see where we changed the oil, and again, everything is in good shape. I really like that they put a cutout there so you can do oil changes. A lot of cars today, they just slap belly pans, plastic ones as well. They're like, I don't care if you can get to the drain plug, that's your problem. But that's not what they did on this one. They left a nice cutout for you. Here's our front drive shaft, no plane. If you look forward, the oil pan, nothing seeping out there. Here's our transmission, dry as a desert. One thing we have done on this vehicle is we've done services and we've done all the fluids, front to back, so I know they're all fresh. This was probably a year or so ago, but they're all good to go. Here's our transfer case. It is not leaking. Our rear drive shaft is good. Again, some metal, actual steel panels. Not that chintzy stuff they have today. Nothing coming out of the pinion seal there. Drive shaft U-joint is good there. We'll check our rear brakes. They look like they brand new. Shocks are not leaking. Here's our air suspension in the rear. Everything looks healthy there. Same here. Brakes are like new. Shocks are dry. And sway bar links are both good. And guess what? The spare tire is full of air. I don't know how many vehicles that we've inspected or done services on that we check the spare. I mean, it's flat. You can squeeze it with your hands like this. What are they going to do when they finally do have a flat on one of their main tires? They're going to bolt this thing up and go, oh crap. That's the wrong time to be worrying about it, is when you need it. We always take care of that when vehicles come in for service. We at least make sure it's full of air. It got some air in it. Let's check the date codes on the tires. So these are the 20th week of 2023. So they are basically fairly new tires. So we don't need to worry about tires. Let's get this thing on the ground. I've personally road tested this vehicle a couple of times and it rides so nice. It reminds me of an early 2000s Range Rover, an 04 or 05 Range Rover. It rides so good. It's soft. Now, is it going to win races and handle really well on the Nürburgring racetrack? No. If that's what you want, you don't need to be looking at SUVs. You need to find you a McLaren MP4 12C or something. But if you're going on a family vacation or you're cruising to work and you want to be comfortable, these things are so nice. We noticed when Mrs. Wizard did the interior review, it has nice, thick, padded seats. And for some reason, and Hoovie's mentioned this on his channel, it seems like automakers are going to basically cardboard seats that are this thick. It's cheap, it works, they don't care. What happened to those cushy lounge chair seats that we used to have, just like that's in this vehicle? It's so comfortable. So as you saw when we did the inspection on this vehicle, 170,000 miles basically, and it's a 2008. It really wasn't even rusted that bad. There were 0 leaks to speak of. Everything's tight, everything drives like a new vehicle. I know a ton of Buick SUVs and Ford SUVs and Chevrolet SUVs that get to this point, and they're not even half as good as this one. Is this the perfect vehicle? No, there is no perfect vehicle. But the engine, transmission, the drivetrain, the brakes, everything that's on this vehicle is near as perfection as you can get as far as reliability and longevity. Does it look cool like a new Range Rover? No. But you're going to pay heavily for one of those. So you're asking yourself, well, what's the purpose of this video? Why did I just watch this today? Where are you going with this? I'm going to answer your questions in all the emails I keep getting. Wizard, I'm looking at this Audi Q5. Are those reliable? No. Wizard, I'm looking at this BMW X5. Is this reliable? No. I don't care what year. I don't care what engine package. None of them are reliable like this vehicle. Wizard, I'm looking at this Range Rover. Is it reliable? Hell no. Absolutely not. Especially the newer ones with all the plastic coolant pipes all over the engine that split and spray coolant everywhere. Ask Hoovy about that. He experienced that on one that he had. One thing I keep seeing as well when I say, no, you shouldn't buy this, you should get a Lexus, you should look at one of these or a Toyota, and they say, they cost just as much as an Audi. Yeah, there's a reason. It is a well-known fact that it is super nice. It's going to outlast that Audi you're looking at. Go older. If you want a little cheaper price, 08, 12, 14. Don't get a 24, 23. Get an older one. And you can get the price into the range that you can afford. And I can say on a Lexus, you can go back to 2004, 08, 06, into this range. And as long as it's been maintained, you're getting a bulletproof car. So how many miles is too many miles? I actually had an email recently with that. I'm looking at an LS400. And we all know those are just one of the best vehicles on earth. But he said it had 600,000 miles on it. I said, no, probably not that one, because it could go another 400. It could go another 50. It could die tomorrow. That one's far enough along, you probably should not invest in that one. But 2, 3, 150, 170 like this one, absolutely, go for it. Now, I've mentioned so many times, pre, which means before, not after, before purchase inspection. I just had a vehicle come in this week. They purchased it and they found out they got scammed hard. I said, well, did you get a pre-purchase inspection? No, it was cool. I just really love that car. I got to have it. You have to get it. I know it's inconvenient. I know it costs money. It's the best money you've ever spent. Because you might get it up on a lift and the mechanics say, oh my God, bro, you need to check this out. Then you can tell the seller to stick it where the sun don't shine. I don't want your car. You really need to save yourself the trouble. So that's the purpose of this video. Definitely want to show you guys before it left. It's going to be leaving soon. It was just an oil change. And it's frequently just an oil change. Like I mentioned, we did the timing belt, water pump, and all the services. This thing is a trooper. It just keeps going and going and going. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on other vehicles in the shop, because we really haven't done much to this one, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut. We really appreciate it. Check out Mrs. Wizard's Way. She's got some new content coming out there. You definitely want to check that out. And hit the subscribe button here, because we got really great videos coming down the pipe. Thanks for watching.